this thing going.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Last Things Last podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Myers, joined by my co-hosts, MJ Nisgoda and Justin Mandia. Say hi to the folks, everybody.
Howdy.
Hey, have you ever said everybody before? Was that the first time you've ever?
Words are hard, man.
Words are hard. For the first time.
Words are hard.
Hey, I'm consenting now. All right, go ahead.
Perfect.
I want to let you guys know.
Now been consented. Well, that's wonderful.
Yes.
All right. So the winter meetings for the Major League Baseball offseason are underway right now. The biggest signing so far, Garrett Cole putting on pinstripes, a 9-year, $324 million deal, I believe it is.
That's dead on the money.
Play in the Bronx. Yeah.
In case you're
wondering.
Kev, in case you did know, that's $9,200 per pitch thrown.
I was just going to say
$110,000 per strikeout, $169,000 per inning pitched, and $1.9 million per start. Just in case you were keeping track.
I promise them I will get it over the plate for $9,200.
Wait, you guys don't get paid $9,200 per email?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was just.
Is this how you live the dentless lifestyle? So Garrett Cole gets paid. MJ, do you love it or do you hate it?
He definitely reset the market. There's no doubt about that.
There's no salary cap.
But his agent did it beautifully. It's like Strasburg was the number one pick, and he's like, we'll wait till that guy gets paid, and then we'll just go way, way higher. Which I thought Strasburg got a great deal too. 7 years at $245, stays with the Nats.
That was a great deal.
That's fantastic. And a lot of that money's deferred. So, but with Cole, man, the way he handled himself after the World Series, I represent myself. I'm not an employee of the Astros anymore.
Yeah, he totally threw him out.
Yeah, so no, it doesn't surprise me, man. It's the Yankees being the Yankees. I think that's a ridiculous amount of money for a pitcher, for someone that might play 25 games. And they don't play full games. That's the other thing. So I don't think that type of money changes your season on that type of player. Especially, again, someone that can't play the whole year, and you're going to give them $324 million. I think they definitely strengthen their bullpen quite a bit. And again, I stick by it's the Yankees being the Yankees.
Tweet response of the day when the news broke. There was one of the top Twitter responses said, I swear every game in Houston versus the Yankees is going to sound like Drumline when Cole throws an off-speed pitch.
That's going to be so accurate.
That's so sad, but true. But Justin, what do you think? Do you love it or hate it? I mean, you were talking to me earlier about the salary cap and how they need one in baseball. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that's my biggest takeaway from it. The fact that he got the money that he got, like what I always stand by. I feel like, I don't know if it's you and I that have had this argument before, but I know someone in our group chat and I have had this argument before of like, no one's worth that amount of money.
You and I, I'm sure. Yeah, it was you and me.
And mine is always, you're worth whatever someone's willing to pay you. Like, it doesn't matter what, like, you're worth what the market says you're worth. So, like, I'm not exactly, I guess, as upset about that. I'm more upset about the fact that the salary cap here, the fact that there is nothing, like at least do they even have a soft cap? Like, is there something?
It's a soft cap, but there are so many loopholes to get through it. It doesn't even count.
Yeah. And the tax you get is just ridiculous.
Oh, it's nuts. It's nuts.
It's
like when you have payroll discrepancies, like like Major League Baseball does, it makes it really, really hard for those smaller market teams to compete, which is why it was so impressive to see teams like, I think the Royals were the ones like recently, right, that had kind of like the low budget and made it pretty far. But other than that, you see big market teams making it pretty far because they have the most money to spend.
That's how it always goes. Well, I mean, except the Dodgers. They keep spending millions of dollars and keep screwing up in the same game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. But it stands to reason. I mean, the Yankees basically dynasty of the like late 90s, early 2000s was
Steinbrenner just spending money. Yeah.
It was they were bought World Series.
They had at least, I think, 4 or 5 players well over the 150 million mark.
And back then, that was insanity.
Yeah. I mean, remember when A-Rod signed his deal, it was the biggest of all time, and now that's nothing.
Shattered.
I mean, you got pitchers shattering that.
Yeah.
Also, just to put this in perspective, Mike Trout, who plays every game,
and is the best player.
Is the best player in baseball. Is making $100 million more, and his contract is 3 years longer. So Trout, who literally is on the field for every inning of every game, unless some sort of rest happens, is only making up, basically $100 million more than a pitcher.
Well, speaking of the Los Angeles Angels, they were supposed to make some big splashes, including getting Garrett Cole. It was really down to the Angels and the Yankees. And I was listening to MLB radio earlier, and they said when the news broke around midnight Eastern, Cashman and a bunch of other Yankees officials walked into a bar across the street from where the meetings are. And there were a bunch of other owners there getting drinks, and everybody stood up and gave him a standing ovation. And Joe Madden's just sitting over there, new manager of the Angels, like, walks over, congratulates him. It's like, yeah, good job. I really wanted to have him.
Can you imagine Mike Trout on a competitive team?
That's what I'm saying, though. Currently, Trevor Rosenthal literally just tweeted. He said, Angels in active talks with Rendon, and they're also looking to trade for Kluber. I mean, if they can get either of those guys, that puts them in a much better spot.
I don't think they get Rendon, because everything I've read says the Dodgers are basically throwing their shot, they're not getting it, and he's really leaning towards Texas. And another thing we got to consider about Texas
That's interesting
is
too.
the no income tax.
Yeah.
So that contract's worth a lot more.
Yeah.
But apparently, somehow, the Phillies are still in the game.
But here's the thing. Do you think Rendon – well, actually, I think I just answered my own question, honestly. Do you think that Rendon cares more about winning or getting the best deal? Obviously, and I say I answered my own question because he just won a World Series. So – take the deal. I mean, if you want to go down to what is it? It's the Rangers you said that's in talks with them. I didn't see anything about that, but yeah, that I think that'd be a good place for him. I mean, they're not a contender by any stretch, but I mean, if he's going to get a max deal for himself, then that's where you want to go.
Once you win, man, get paid. I'm all about it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, so what do you think about Strasburg sticking around, deciding to stay in DC, trying to push for another run there?
Dude, I think that's great, especially after, he comes out. He was really the talk of that year, and then you can't throw every pitch at 103 miles an hour. That caught up with him real quick. And, he goes through the Tommy John. They stuck by him the whole time. I mean, comes back and crushes it through the postseason. I'm really happy about that. I'm not a huge Nats fan or, DC sports fan, but I'm really, really love to see a player like that who's, the team stuck by him through all that, stay there.
Well, it seems like the Rendon situation is escalating quickly. Rosenthal just said they are trying to get a deal done tonight. So
how much is Rendon commanding? What's he going to get?
Well, he turned down 200-some million. So he's expecting to get a really big – I mean, he's arguably one of the best at his position, if not the best.
The hot corner, man? Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's like him, Arenado, those kind of guys that are, Speaking of Nolan Arenado, the Rockies are actively shopping Nolan Arenado. I was talking to some of my coworkers today out here about it, and they were like, you know what? Rockies aren't contenders. They're not going to be contenders for a while, but they are literally dug in on Charlie Blackmon's contract, Nolan Arenado's contract. Ian Desmond's making $17 million for some reason, and then they've got David Dahl, who's going to need to get paid, and Trevor Story, who's going to need to get paid. So it's like they got all these really good hitters.
Well, Trevor Story got a decent extension, didn't he? 2 years ago.
No, not yet.
I thought he got paid 2 years ago, man.
Let me look. I don't think it was Story, but
I think it was.
But Justin, you were talking to me earlier about it. Isn't it crazy that Arenado was just given a great extension, and now they're looking to shop him? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I feel like if you were going to – I guess – the idea behind that is was he going to be a free agent this year? He wasn't, his contract was up after last year, right?
Yeah.
So if they wouldn't have re-signed him. So I figure, I mean, they probably were just going into it hoping that they wouldn't just lose him for nothing.
MJ was a 1 year, it looks like a 1 year extension.
Well, that was the $12 million, right?
Yeah. But they're saying that Trevor Story should be the next long-term deal, which I agree with. He's young and he's really, really good. But yeah,
the haul that they could get back for him would be insane.
But that's what I'm saying. No one's offering that
giant contract too. Taking on not that it really matters in baseball, but I mean, you're not going to get an Arenado on the Yankees to add an Arenado contract to a Judge.
There's no way. Not to mention they would have to give up Judge or So I think it'd be a 2-for-1 deal.
I think that you're losing a lot of teams that could trade for him just because his price tag that you put on him now.
Yeah.
He's coming with a contract that's so large, it's going to.
So Trevor Story's going to demand over 100, right?
Oh,
Right?
without
For
question.
sure.
He should get 150 plus. Yeah. The way that guy's been playing, he's been carrying that team with his bat. But I do think that when it comes to Arenado, you're right, Justin. Like, it's going to be too much to get back for him. No one's going to give up their assets for him. And you just sunk so much money into him. The Rockies have one of the worst payrolls in baseball because they're so sunk in on a lot of these hitters. Now, I think re-signing Arenado was smart. If that's the guy, you're going to be making your cornerstone, which obviously you should. But that means you might have to shop a Charlie Blackmon, which no one in Colorado, including me, wants to see happen. He's so much fun to watch. But
I just brought up their total salary on the team.
How bad is it?
They're gonna have to make some moves.
Yeah, dude, they're sunk in these players.
They should trade Arenado for one team's entire triple.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll trade
All the
Arenado
prospects.
for the Rays farm system.
Yeah, the best AAA squad out there.
Yeah, they're definitely going to move some people. Anyway.
some other small moves that happened today. Michael Wacha signed a 1-year deal with the New York Mets.
Who cares?
Cardinals weren't going to bring him back. Mets bringing him in, hoping that he can be their fifth guy. But a decent pitcher that was signed by the Blue Jays today, Tanner Roark, signed a deal with Toronto. I would say that's going to help them, which it will, but you're in the AL East, so nothing can really help you. You're really fighting for a wild card or nothing in that division. So, I mean, the Orioles, God bless them, they're never.
Oh man, I love watching the O's slide.
I know you do.
First part of the year, they go climb, and then
Dude, they
All-Star
crush
break.
it. Yeah.
I love watching a whole city's hopes go up here and then come crashing down.
Crashing down immediately. Yeah.
Third.
Did MJ freeze?
Yeah,
MJ's frozen.
Yeah, it said my internet connection was unstable. I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm trusting you with this.
hey, stabilize your internet connection, dude.
Well, maybe if you can Venmo me $260.
So let's take a guess here. What team do we all think Rendon lands on?
Did you hear him?
I think Rendon. I'm
saying the Angels.
I'm going Rangers.
I'm saying the Angels.
I'm going Rangers. I still think the Rangers have a shot.
I'm going the Angels.
Which I think would be awesome for Mike Trout. So I hope he does go there, but I really think he's going to the Rangers.
Justin, who do you think?
MJ. Oh my gosh.
Don't make this longer than it needs to be.
All right, good call. Good call. Oh, dude, that was dark.
I didn't even hear what he said.
Oh,
you'll hear it in the recording.
I might need edited. I don't know what time we're at. That's the one downside about Zoom. You can't even see the time, can you?
I can tell you it's 9:38 p.m. That's about it.
Thank you.
Not 7:38, guys. We got plenty of time.
I think I'm trying to decide. LA?
Which LA? There are 2 LA teams.
Hey,
Justin,
you know what? If I don't specify, then I have it even better.
Do you know who Rendon is? Do you know?
Yes, I do, because I watched him on the Harrisburg Senators for
yeah.
more than that. He was on the same team as Trey Turner.
Speaking of, my favorite Harrisburg Senators memory was watching Steven Strasburg come in for a rehab start, and he was throwing 98 miles an hour to these poor AA hitters. They're just like, everybody who was crowding the plate in the first inning with the other guy was like way back at this point. Like, I don't want
Kevin, I think you just I think you just uttered a sentence that no one from Harrisburg has ever uttered. My favorite Senators memory.
Yeah, we weren't, when the Milton Bradley Grand Slam happened. So,
you and
all right,
1,300 attendance.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of cool stuff that's going to happen over the next couple of days. Maybe Rendon's deal will get done before this cast is done. So we'll keep an eye on that. But before then, we're going to move along here to what was on my list, boys. Anybody remember?
Dallas Stars coach.
Dallas Stars. Jim Montgomery fired by the Dallas Stars. MJ, your predictions are coming true. The Babcock fallout is real. And I got to tell you, their firing was as vague as NHL injury reports. They said Jim Montgomery has been fired today for conduct detrimental to the team.
But he didn't violate the what is it, the 4-point thing of the NHL? He didn't violate
that they just
what
came
did he
up
do?
with. Yeah.
What did he do? And apparently it happened like last week. They're like, it happened Sunday. By Tuesday, hammer comes down.
I have no idea what he did.
I really hope that comes out.
But do you think this is going to be more of a we're trying to blacklist this guy, or it's just we just need to get this guy out of here because he's doing things that obviously he shouldn't.
Honestly, man, and this is not talking down on the Me Too movement at all here, but I think we're going to start seeing something similar to that inside the NHL. Like,
dude, I hear you.
It's the things that people were ignoring in the past just because either they were scared or didn't know what to do. They're going to start coming out. Like I said, man, I think this keeps going. There's a lot of older coaches that might start seeing this, or younger coaches that were adopting that old school mentality of this is how you treat players. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot more people go.
Justin, what do you think?
I was trying to think of a clever.
Please don't.
To make like Me Too into
You're a
like a
nightmare.
hockey term, and there was no way I could do it. The best I had was like 2-line pass, but that doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, they got rid of that.
Yeah. No, my brain, I can literally smell smoke in here right now because of how hard I was working.
I was like, why? You should get out of your house.
The doorknob's really hot too. I don't know what that's about, but
Dwight Schrute.
no, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very concerned what could have happened here if it didn't meet one of those four. I have some guesses that aren't appropriate. And here they are in alphabetical. No, but it's weird because the Stars are doing pretty well this year too.
They are. They really are.
Yeah.
They're overachieving.
Maybe
And he was the first the first coach of Dallas in his first year to make the playoffs. I think if I read that correctly.
That sounds right.
And he was he was the third of the 2 straight coaching changes. Like,
yeah.
He even made the joke, I hope I last here longer than my 9-game playing career.
Well, I mean, he did.
584 days, in case anyone was counting.
There's that. So
yeah, I mean, I hope it does come out though, so that it's not left speculating. Because what's going to happen now is that he got let go, so now people that aren't really into hockey but we're just jumping all over the Babcock/Peters thing are going to.
Whoa, guys! Whoa!
Peter.
Sharks fire coach Peter DeBoer.
Oh yeah, he was fired too.
Oh my God!
What?
It just happened.
Not conduct detrimental. I think it's just because they're terrible this year.
Assistant Bob Boner named interim coach. It is done. Let's continue.
Okay.
So yeah, the Sharks have fired their coach. We have no idea. We have no idea what this is going to be.
Yeah, I was just trying to read through it. I don't see anything.
But if it is conduct detrimental to the team, you're like the Swami now for hockey.
No, man. All right, so the 2 big predictions I made was, A, in college basketball, there'd be no dominant team. Look, the other night, Maryland loses to Penn State. Boom, another one down.
Or right after you said it.
Then that Stephen F. Austin beats Duke.
Yeah.
I literally was laying in bed, and I got the notification. I was like, how can I know tomorrow's lottery numbers? I know this. But, yeah, I'm telling you, man, the coaching wheel, it's coming. People are and it won't just be head coaches either. I'm talking assistants, anyone involved.
Trainers.
Anything. I think you're going to see a lot of places, even quietly clean house.
Yeah, Justin, I'm going to have to kick you off this cast.
Why?
Because, I look at your face, and I know you're just thinking the most inappropriate things at every turn.
I know, but I keep it in my head, and I entertain myself.
What does that mean?
The thing is, the thing is also though, I feel like a lot of stuff that maybe would have been just looked at as tough coaching now, I think a lot of people are going to get let go just for safety's sake. You know what I'm saying? So if there's the appearance of there possibly being an issue, then they just get rid of them because why would you deal with the media screw?
So is this like
get rid of them and be like,
is this like the cancel culture in the NHL basically?
Well, I don't know because
is
there
that
are
a
some
fair-
of
is
these
that a
coaches
fair
that definitely
comparison?
should have been fired. I
Maybe,
don't know
but
because
we
there
have
are
to-
some of these coaches that should be fired.
Yeah,
like Babcock should have been fired.
Yeah,
Bill Peters.
The dude that was spewing
like Justin said,
racism.
there's going to be a coach that has a bad game, screams something at a player. The player gets upset. Like, What happens? Is it like true cancel culture there?
Yeah.
Right.
Because, I mean, like, Peter Laviolette, isn't he? He's the Predators coach, right?
But
now?
he was with the Flyers.
But he was with the
right?
Flyers, and there was video of him punching someone in the like a player in the helmet. And then everyone went crazy and were like, look at this screen grab. And Laviolette's like, I never did that. And then the video came out, and he's like, well, I guess I did do it, but it wasn't like I was trying to. I was swinging my arm, and I punched him in the head. And then everyone's like, oh, yeah, like, good story. And then the player that he punched in the head came out, and he's like, yeah, no, he would never, like, actually punch me in the head. He definitely was just, like, swinging his – and, like, kind of confirmed what Laviolette was saying, and it was all good. But it is, like, kind of witch hunting now where they're, like, going after – they're trying to find people.
Any little thing is under a microscope now.
To be like, yeah, what about this guy that did this one thing?
Which man, it is good and it is bad. I mean,
Sure.
I think it's a 50-50 street.
You can weed out the bad ones.
There are coaches that need to go, but I just feel like there's going to be some coaches now that might not take risks that they might have to motivate teams because of this. So that's another thing to look at too.
Dude, I was thinking, though, some of that stuff, when the players are, like, coming out and saying that a coach hit them, I'm like, dude, swing on him. What are you talking about? Like,
You end him.
he abuses you, and you're an NHL player, be like, oh, weird. This is fun. Start going at it.
Boy.
Oh.
All right, well.
Kev, great tweet just came out. Update with Rob Manfred's comments today. Sources say the league is attempting to follow leads on what may have happened in 2018 with the Astros.
They had him on the at the desk today, and they asked the reporter asked him point blank, "Are they not going to be in the playoffs?" And he was like, "I obviously can't say yet. We have to look. We have to look at all of this before I can give you an answer."
Why would you ask?
Yeah, but
I can't answer.
you know, once the camera cut out, he did this.
He's like, "Oh yeah, they're
not going to be in the playoffs.
They're not even allowed to have trash cans. They just have to have bags in the locker room now.
But yeah, so we're going to keep an eye. This coaching stuff's going to keep happening, I think. So we'll keep an eye on that. Moving on to the college football bowl schedule was just released. Boys, let's play a little fun game because half of these games, we haven't watched most of these teams because who would unless they're a power team. But we're going to go through each of these bowls and pick who's going to win.
Let's not do each.
Well, we could do quick. I mean, you don't know a lot about half the teams that are in it, so it'll be easy.
Very quick.
So I'm going to the bottom here. I'm going to start at the January 6th and work our way up.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'll just go down the ESPN list. You guys on the ESPN list?
I can do that right now.
So the first one is the semifinal. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl between number 1 LSU and number 4 Oklahoma. I'm taking the Tigers.
Oh, damn right. Let's go Tigers.
Coach O, baby.
Go Tigers as well. I think it'll be a close-ish game, though, if Oklahoma's defense plays the same way they played against Baylor, because they played really well against Baylor.
Our buddy Anthony thinks Oklahoma's winning the national championship for reasons passing understanding.
Yeah, well.
Don't. The college football.
I wouldn't bet on it if I were you.
The PlayStation Fiesta Bowl between number 2 Ohio State versus number 3 Clemson. I'm taking Clemson in this game.
I'm sticking.
If I were down,
I'm taking Clemson. Yeah. Sorry, Justin.
Yeah. If I were down to my last, say, few $100s, I would bet it all on Clemson here. I think that Clemson, so they have a terrible regular season schedule, and then they always get into the playoff just because they get into the playoff because they have a terrible schedule, and then they get in the playoff and just dominate every year. So
but you
I
gotta
think
look.
it's going to happen.
No, I was one of the people jumping up and down saying they had a cupcake schedule, but they were blowing teams out. So they were at least doing what they were. Besides North Carolina, they dominated.
I was going to say North Carolina's one. They always have one dud, though, during the year.
But that's going to happen, man. You get so used to being up by so much, you have a bad game. And I think that's why Sweeney was on the screen so much, yelling up and down. Like some people are annoyed, but it was a motivated team.
Let's get into some serious bowl games here.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, on December 20th, the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl, Buffalo versus Charlotte. Gotta go with the Bulls, man. Gotta go Buffalo here. I don't know why, but I'm gonna go with them. That's who I'm going with, Buffalo.
I was not aware Charlotte had a football team, so I'm going with Buffalo.
Actually, Buffalo has had a good season, so
I'm going with Buffalo.
Yeah.
Give me
Justin?
Charlotte. Give me Charlotte.
Oh, the upset pick.
No,
Yes.
we gotta go back and listen to this before bowl season here and get all of our picks down.
Oh, yeah, and see if we got any right.
I'm going Charlotte just to be contrarian.
Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl. These names are getting horrible. Utah State versus Kent State. I'm going with the Golden Flash here. Going with Kent State.
You know what? Utah proved to me they can't play when they don't have state attached to their name. So I'm gonna go with Kent State.
Oh, I think Utah State put up a fight in a couple games this year. I think they were ranked at one point. I'm gonna go Utah State gives a power green tropical smoothie to the Kent State Flash.
Well played, sir. Well
On
played.
December 21st, the Celebration Bowl, Alcorn State versus North Carolina A&T. Alcorn sounds like acorn, and squirrels are wily, so I'm going with Alcorn State.
North Carolina is above
That's some
South
good
Carolina.
analysis right there.
Hey, North Carolina is above South Carolina, and they have A&T. That must mean automatic. So I'm going with North Carolina.
Some rock. This is spot on.
What is the Alcorn State? Like, where are they from? You know, never mind. I don't even want to know. It's mysterious. Alcorn State.
The New Mexico Bowl, Central Michigan versus San Diego State. Antonio Brown went to Central Michigan, and he's insane, so I'm going with San Diego State in this one.
Oh, I'm going Antonio Brown alma mater. Let's go Central Michigan.
Ooh. San Diego State's close to New Mexico. Michigan is not close to New Mexico. I'm considering this a home game for San Diego State. Their fans travel well. Everyone knows that.
Guys, ESPN should just hire us now to do this once a year. Just go through all of these.
This is how Pat McAfee got his own show. Just keep saying
That's so
ridiculous
true.
things.
All right, the FBC Mortgage Cure Bowl. Liberty versus Georgia Southern. Liberty has some really crazy strict rules on their campus. I'm going with Georgia Southern.
I'm also going with Georgia Southern because they took a name like Georgia, which is already Southern, and put Southern on the end, just so you know.
I don't know anything about Georgia Southern. I know that, like you said, Liberty has very strict rules. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that Georgia Southern has very lax rules for reasons I won't explain, but if you wanted me to. And I know that my analysis of closeness and home games, I mean, Georgia is very close to Orlando, Liberty not so much, but I'm going the opposite way. I think these Georgia boys, they get down to Orlando, they start going on some rides. Maybe they go on to Splash
Space
Mountain.
Oh,
a couple times.
okay.
Space Mountain. Maybe
Fair
they get
enough.
some whiplash. Liberty, they're not allowed to have fun at amusement parks. It's not allowed. So I'm going to go Liberty.
All right, the Cherundi Boca Raton Bowl. SMU versus Florida Atlantic. I'm going with those Methodists. Southern Methodist University. They're still mad about being banned 1,000 years ago. Going with them.
I feel like Florida Atlantic's pretty close to Boca Raton, so I'm going to go with Florida Atlantic.
And it's also at FAU Stadium. It's at FAU Stadium.
A literal home game. MJ, you had no clue how close to Boca Raton they were. They're so close. They're in the goddamn face. Oh, my God.
The Camellia Bowl, Florida International versus Arkansas State.
Justin gets the pick.
Well, hurry up. If we keep at this pace, we're not going to get through them all.
Florida Atlantic just lost their coach, Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's going to Ole Miss right before bowl season. He doesn't care about his team, SMU.
All right, Camellia Bowl, Florida International versus Arkansas State. It's in Alabama, so I'm going with Arkansas State.
Wait, it's at the Crampton Bowl? What is the Crampton Bowl?
I have no
Peter Crampton, everyone knows that.
I think it's Frampton, but okay.
It absolutely is.
I'm going Arkansas State as well.
Florida International because I didn't pick Florida Atlantic.
These are such great reasons. The Mitsubishi Motors Las Vegas Bowl. Boise State versus Washington. Guys, you never go against the old Statue of Liberty. Boise State all the way. Blue turf.
I'm I'm going to go with
Perfect
Washington because I live near Washington, D.C., and I've once owned a Mitsubishi. So that makes logical sense.
Oh, Old Red.
She's in a junkyard somewhere now.
Is she? One time you literally almost ended my life at like 16 because we hydroplaned going 101 miles an hour on 322.
And then you also almost ended your own life by just being bad at driving.
Wow, Kevin. Sounds good. We can edit that one out. No, we're not. But we edit out mine about someone else, maybe famous, possibly ending the life of his father.
Oh my God, Justin just picked a ball game.
I'm going Washington. Jacob Eason, quarterback. He was better than Jake Fromm on Georgia. For some reason, they decided to pick Jake Fromm out of Justin Fields and Jacob Eason and Jake Fromm. So, revenge bowl for Jake Eason.
The R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Appalachian State versus UAB.
Oh, dude,
Gotta go.
App State.
I'm going with the Dragons.
What?
They're called the Dragons.
Dude,
they are called.
App State's only lost
They are called the Dragons.
App State's lost like 9 games over the last 4 years.
Dude,
definitely
Game of Thrones is going to happen.
I've never seen it, so I don't know what.
Neither have I, but I just know there's a lot of dragons.
Didn't UAB literally get their entire team like taken away and then brought back like a couple of years ago?
Yeah, go Dragons.
Sure. You said the other Dragons, like that explains why they got their team taken away. But they couldn't be trusted. They were breathing too much fire. But now they're grown up and they've returned, so it's fine. Appalachian State, they've been ranked all year.
Yeah,
they're good.
They're really
Dude,
good.
they're so good. They're so under the radar.
Oh, boys, December 23rd, the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl, UCF versus Marshall. Going with Marshall.
I feel like UCF's close to Tampa, so I'm going to go with UCF.
It is. It's in Orlando. And UCF, I will never pick them for anything because I hate them because of them having a championship parade when they were undefeated but played nobody. So Marshall.
Well, here's another home game, the SoFi Hawaii Bowl, Hawaii versus BYU in Honolulu. I'm going to go with Hawaii.
Oh, BYU, obviously.
The
They
Storm
travel
and
well.
Mormons?
They travel well. Huston.
They travel well.
Because every fan can afford the ticket and the $2,000 flight.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what I want, but remind me, guys, just say BYU.
Okay.
All right? Tell me that at the end and I'll remember. BYU for the reason that I.
The Walk-Ons Independence Bowl, Louisiana Tech versus Miami in Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm going with Tech here.
I'm going with Miami because most of their players look like walk-ons this year, so that explained a lot.
Ooh, celebratory. I guess I'm going to go Louisiana Tech. I feel like Miami's been really disappointed this year.
Dude, why are so many of these games home games? The Quick Lane Bowl, Pittsburgh versus Eastern Michigan at Ford Field in Detroit. We're going to go with Pittsburgh, though. I'm going to go with Pitt in this game.
Yeah, I'll take Pitt as well.
Because last time Pittsburgh played in Ford Field was the Steelers, and they won the Super Bowl. So
I don't think that relates, but okay.
It's a reason. It's a niche. What do you got, Justin?
Eastern Michigan.
All right.
Hey, was that an Archer reference?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a niche. Military Bowl presented by Northrop Grumman. North Carolina versus Temple. Going with the Owls, man. Going with Temple here. Even though they are god-awful.
I'm going UNC. Justin just heard me say that. I'm going with UNC to win this.
It's football, though. It's football.
But my only problem is, why does it have to be presented by Northrop Grumman? Why can't it just be the Military Bowl? Like, come on, Northrop Grumman. Let it go. We all know who you are. Go ahead, Justin.
You've heard of the Northrop Grumman Industrial Complex, though, haven't you? I don't know why that was a thing. North Carolina, they're true patriots. Temple, they don't support the troops. Fact. So, North Carolina.
Okay. The New Era Pinstripe Bowl in Yankee Stadium, Michigan State versus Wake Forest. I'm going with Michigan State here.
I'm going to go with Michigan State because I want to see the Big Ten do well in the bowl games.
Yep. No, and actual seriousness, Michigan State over Wake Forest because the Big Ten is going to show dominance over the ACC.
Yeah, they are.
Like mid-tier Big Ten teams versus mid-tier ACC teams, it's not even close.
The Academy Sports plus Outdoor Texas Bowl.
These are where they get. This is where they get fun again, though. Like the
Oklahoma State versus Texas A&M. Go with the Cowboys. Oklahoma State.
Same. Like the Giga Maggies were not good at all this year. So
I'm going A&M because the only losses A&M had were to just all really, really good teams in the SEC.
yeah, but then those really good teams look bad for beating A&M.
Oh, here comes a mouthful. The San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl.
Oh, what the heck? They changed that. That used to be the San Diego Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. What happened?
It's USC versus Iowa. I'm going with the Hawkeyes here. This is going to be another win.
Big
Oh,
Ten.
guys, no
Big
more.
Ten.
Iowa.
Thank you.
Good
As
choice.
a Notre Dame fan, I just can't pick USC ever. Cheez-It Bowl. The Cheez-It Bowl. Air Force versus Washington State. Yeah. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Going with Air Force.
No, I'm going with Mike Leach. Let's go Washington State.
Yeah,
Mike Leach is great.
for sure. Mike Leach.
Minshew Mania.
Without him, we don't get that. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Justin, we have interest in this next one. The Camping World Bowl.
Speak
Our
for
Notre
yourself.
Dame Fighting Irish versus Iowa State. I'm going with Notre Dame. I'll just go with Notre Dame. I'm just going to fanboy this one out, but we'll probably lose. Go with the Irish.
So everything in the world tells me I want to pick Notre Dame, but they do so poorly in bowl games. I
Yep.
don't know.
Very poorly.
So you know what? I'll pick Notre Dame.
They do good at bowl games as long as they're not playing in important ones, though. This is not important in any way. I'm going to go Notre Dame.
The Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Penn State versus Memphis. This is going to be a really good game. I'm actually excited for this one. I'm going with – sorry, MJ. I'm going with Memphis here.
It's okay. You were dropped on your head as a child. Let's go with Penn State.
Probably.
I know your parents. You absolutely were.
I'm
Your mom probably
Steve
thought
wasn't
you were
that
on
careful.
ball at one point.
No doubt. No doubt.
Penn State for me.
All right. The
In
college
case
football-
anyone didn't know on this podcast, Kevin's mom was a very competitive bowler and very good. I don't know what happened to Kevin, but she was very talented.
Yeah, I kind of ruined that. Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. Western Kentucky versus Western Michigan.
What?
Go with Western Kentucky.
Can I just say Western's going to win? Is that okay? I'll go Kentucky.
Which one's more west? Kentucky?
No, I
I
think
knew Kentucky.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Oh,
The Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Mississippi State versus Louisville. I'm going with Louisville here because I almost went to school there.
I'm going with MSU. Let's do this.
Louisville, Mississippi State sucks.
Okay.
The Red Box Bowl. California versus Illinois. I'm going with the Bears.
Big Ten. Big Ten. Big
Oh,
Ten.
the Illini, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about Illinois. I'm going the Chip Kelly Cal Bears.
Capital One Orange Bowl, Florida versus Virginia. Towson played Florida this year and got shut out.
Is that your barometer?
Go
For
for it.
how, is that your barometer for how good a team is?
And that proves that Florida, being number 9, is where they should be. So I'm going with Florida.
I'm going with Virginia, man. I think they had a great year. Like
Little
seriously,
home
I
state
did watch.
love there.
I
Home
did
state
watch
love.
them. Yeah, man. I'd love to
Yeah.
see them win a bowl game.
Justin?
I always get UCLA and Cal confused, and I was like, Chip Kelly definitely doesn't coach Cal, does he? No, he doesn't. It's
UCLA.
So, like, just ignore the freaking thing that I said earlier. That's what I'm over here. I'm like, no, he's one of those yellow California teams.
Oh my God, we have so many more. Come on.
I
we
know,
gotta do
dude.
this.
Why are there so many?
Well, we can't stop now.
Hey, real quick though, college football makes 7 bowls. We don't need all these. There's no reason for it. There is a reason for it. Money, advertising. Florida.
The Belk Bowl, Virginia Tech versus Kentucky. I'm going with Kentucky here.
I'm sticking with the state. Let's go Virginia.
Kentucky.
Yeah. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. They're great. Florida State versus Arizona State. My wife went to Arizona for a while, so I cannot pick Arizona State if I want to sleep in my house tonight. So Florida State.
Oh, dude, Herm Edwards. We're going with Arizona State. They're winning that game.
Hey, like
so
you said,
true.
Herm Edwards, Arizona State.
Oh, boy. All right. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Navy versus Kansas State. Look, you can't run the wishbone offense in 2019. I'm going with Kansas State.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Go Navy, dude. I support the troops. I don't know about you guys, but
The Nova Home Loans Arizona Bowl. It's a home loan bowl, guys. Wyoming versus Georgia State. One of our friends out here went to Wyoming, so I'm going to go with them.
Well, I think this is another one of we all know Georgia's a state, but they put state on the end to really let us know. I'm going Georgia State.
okay, Wyoming.
Valero Alamo Bowl, Utah versus Texas in the Alamo Dome. Don't forget the Alamo, so Texas.
Yep, Texas.
What's the Texas?
And we're getting to the end here.
Oh my God!
The Verbo Citrus
Hurry!
Bowl. Michigan versus Alabama.
Bama, obviously.
I'm going with Bama.
I'm going with Michigan. Big Ten all the way, baby.
The Outback Bowl, Minnesota versus Auburn. I'm going Big Ten here. Golden Gophers take a win over Auburn.
Let's do this.
No. Auburn for sure.
Rose Bowl, Oregon versus Wisconsin. Oregon has the coolest jerseys ever, so going with Oregon.
Although
Sorry.
Wisconsin will dominate them on the line, so I'm going with Wisconsin.
Wisconsin for me too.
All-State Sugar Bowl, Georgia versus Baylor. I'm going with Georgia.
Baylor.
No doubt.
Ooh, Georgia.
Okay, we got 5 left. The Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl. Ticket Smarter. I don't even know what company that is. Boston College versus Cincinnati. I'm going with BC.
I'm going Cincinnati.
Cincy.
Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Indiana versus Tennessee. Going with Rocky Top here. Tennessee.
I'm going with Indiana. They proved to be a decent team this year, and because a very close friend of mine named Joseph Vito, I'm calling you out on this podcast, went to Tennessee, they will not win.
Joseph Vito, because you went to Tennessee, they will win. And I want you to know that you're loved.
Ladies and gentlemen, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
Ooh.
Ohio versus Nevada. Got to go with the Wolfpack.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Nevada.
Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Southern Miss versus Tulane. Going with Tulane.
I'll go with Southern Mississippi just to pick. That's another one. We didn't need to know Mississippi was in the South. I get it.
Why do they make the late bowl games so terrible? Why?
I know. Why isn't that like the national championship
Garbage.
stuff? Yeah.
I mean, it technically will be once that
Yeah.
ends up, but still, these shouldn't be the fillers. I'm trying to decide who likes the troops more. Also, I thought Ammon G. Carter Stadium was Aaron Carter. And I was like, whoa.
Justin, we have one more. Just make your pick.
I thought he was struggling, and here he is buying a stadium. Tulane.
And finally, the Lending Tree Bowl. Louisiana versus Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio won the MAC and gave us 2-time Super Bowl champion Ben Roethlisberger. Go with Miami, Ohio.
I'm going with funding falls out before this bowl game starts, and neither team play.
Ooh.
At Lad People's Stadium.
Okay, then Louisiana's going to win it.
I mean,
What's your pick?
Louisiana.
Thank you. Good. I can make this is going to be harder than the last episode. All right.
All right, dude.
We just got through all the bowls, which, wow, can't believe we actually did that. That was tough. Okay.
All right, quick through this NFL schedule. Holy
Well,
crap.
we're not there yet. Hold on a second.
Yes, slow your horses.
NFC East picture, gentlemen.
Oh,
my
God,
God.
what a dumpster
Do we
fire.
really have to?
Yeah, we do. Who is going to win the NFC East?
Redskins. Next question.
Who is seriously going to win the NFC East?
Ooh, I just said Redskins. I don't like saying that. R words, my bad. Eagles? No, wait, no. No, they can't. But they could. But they can't. If the Eagles have more than one starting receiver going into next week, I think that they're going into the Cowboys game. I think
Dallas by default.
I mean, Dallas is definitely
Not 'cause
healthy.
they're
They
good.
should win.
Yeah, not because they're good, but just by default.
Is Jason Garrett still the coach of the Cowboys?
Yeah, he's still
Well, then I'm
clapping
going with the
away.
Eagles.
Hmm.
By the way, I need to say this as an Eagles fan. I hope Alshon Jeffrey is okay. But when he went out and Bobby Kennedy had him, I was like, woo, I'm winning this game.
All right, now we can get into the Week 14. Week 15 picks. Am I correct there? Yeah, Week 15. Holy cow. Week 15 picks. All right, Thursday night football. The Jets at the Ravens. Oh, poor Jets. Oh, poor Jets. Going with Baltimore here by like 1,000 points.
I feel like if Edgar Allan Poe was still alive, he'd write a book about Sam Darnold. So I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Ravens as well.
Buccaneers versus the Lions. I'm going with the Bucs here.
Yeah, famous Jameis is going to crush it, man. I saw stats the other day. He's like third in passing yards, like third in touchdowns. If it wasn't for his interceptions, which I think is 28, he'd be amazing.
No, that's the issue, though. He threw last week, I think he threw for 454 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Like, that's what you get. You get a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns, and a lot of picks. He just throws a lot. It's because they don't.
Broncos at the Chiefs. Broncos coming off a big win against the Texans, who didn't show up.
Justin, did you pick?
I don't remember what the game was, but yeah, Ravens.
Bucks. You picked the Bucks. Didn't you?
Bucks, yeah.
Broncos at the Chiefs. Broncos are coming off that big win, but the Texans didn't really show up. I don't think there's much to it. I'm going with the Chiefs.
The Chiefs better win by a lot because I am laying road across Musser's fantasy team. So Mahomes needs to do better than 13 points.
Drew Lock is the truth. I'm telling you. He was the best quarter, as Ryan, our friend of our group chat, said. He was the best quarterback coming out of that draft. Proving it.
Not wrong.
Why am I not in this group chat, by the way?
You're not on Facebook.
You're on Facebook.
Oh,
that's why.
Calm down.
Well, you asked.
Sorry, that was really aggressive.
That was really aggressive.
So much.
I don't know what's happening.
Did you pick?
I guess don't listen to me then. Chiefs.
Well, you were talking about Drew Lock for like an hour, so I got lost there.
Oh, Kevin.
Bears at Packers. I'm going with.
This is not up for debate.
Packers.
Yeah, this is the Packers.
Packers.
Patriots at Bengals. I mean, I'm only picking the Patriots because they obviously cheated and learned all the secrets of the Bengals juggernaut. So, Patriots.
I'm going to give – I think more points are scored in the Bill Belichick post-game conference. So, I'm going with the Patriots.
Pats, my favorite team.
Dolphins at Giants. Ew. G-Men? No. Yeah, with Eli. Is Eli going to play?
I think so.
Okay, G-Men.
No, I'm sticking on the Fitzmagic train. Let's do this.
The Dolphins aren't that bad. I'm putting it out there right now. Mostly because I don't want the Eagles lost to look that bad. But also, more importantly, no, Fitzmagic is magic, dude. The Dolphins aren't terrible. They almost won last week against the Jets, too. They kicked 6 field goals.
Dude, the devil has to come back at some point and say, Ryan, this is over. You don't get to go to 9 teams, 8 teams.
He's like a hairy Harvard cat.
Seahawks and Panthers.
I don't know what that
Seahawks
is.
here.
I'm going Panthers pulling upset here.
All right.
Seahawks. Kyle Allen's been trash.
Yeah, but McCaffrey's still on that team.
Texans versus Titans. I'm saying Titans blow them out.
Oh, me too. I'm on the Tannehill train. Derrick Henry's crushing it. A.J. Brown, who I had on my bench.
However, as a Steelers fan, I want the Texans to win. Because if we lose to Buffalo, then we're –
Kevin, these picks are supposed to be unbiased.
They're very biased. I'm going with the Titans, though.
I think bounce back game for Houston. Houston wins.
Eagles at Redskins. Going with the Skins here.
He picked against the Eagles every week this season.
I do not trust them at all. And they almost lost to the Giants. I almost had that pick right. So
they had 2 guys from the practice squad in the game.
A pick's a pick, man.
And then one guy.
And then Lane Johnson goes down, which there's statistical evidence to prove we suck without him.
But somehow we got better, which was weird.
It's almost like they're like, oh my God, is that the Ertz from last year? Should we throw the ball at him? But I'm taking the Eagles, yeah.
Birds, I guess. They're receivers. I hope that one receiver is healthy next week, though.
Browns at Cardinals. Going with Arizona in this game. Browns are a dumpster right now, especially internally. So, Cardinals.
I'm going to go Browns. I think it's very close, but I'm going to go Browns.
And it'll be high scoring. I'm going to go Cardinals.
Vikings at Chargers. Going with the Vikings. No discussion needed.
No. Took them in my suicide pool last week. They won. Of course, the other two people took the Browns and the Bucks, and they somehow came back and won. So I got to pick another team this week.
Vikings.
Jaguars at Raiders. Raiders. Even though they've disappointed me thoroughly.
You know what? I'm going with the Minshew. Let's do this.
Minshew's back, dude. Minshew's back. BDN, he's on the sidelines. He's really supporting the team. Give me Minshew mania, dude.
Dude, the stash.
He's got the stash and the spirit of BDN.
I hope it.
Falcons at Niners. I'm going with the Niners here.
Oh, they're at Niners? Yeah, I'm going with the Niners.
Niners.
Rams at Cowboys. Rams.
You know what? The Cowboys are going to win just to keep it interesting. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Probably.
Oh, or if the Cowboys win, or if the Eagles win, then the Cowboys win. If the Eagles lose and the Cowboys lose. I'm going to go Cowboys.
All right, and then Sunday Night Football, the Steelers are hosting the Buffalo Bills.
Who allowed this?
Home game, prime time. Ducks flying high, baby. Going with Pittsburgh.
I think Duck finally plays a real defense, and that's going to be a problem.
Yep, I think Duck has to throw more than 200 yards and one touchdown, and all of a sudden they actually have to be a team.
I think this is a below 17-point game.
Oh, it's going to be a great defensive game.
I think Duck has a horrible day. I think Josh Allen has a horrible day. Yeah, it's going to be deep. Whoever can get the most turnovers wins this game.
So who wins?
The Bills. I'm picking the Bills.
Justin.
I think probably the Steelers because I don't think the Bills are that good. I think it's going to be another one of those games where it's 16-10, and we're like, the Steelers are amazing.
How do you mean the Bills aren't that good?
I don't think they're great. Their offense isn't good.
It almost did enough to beat the Ravens last week, and they shut down the run game
defensively.
No, their offense was getting.
Dude, it was 20-18 or something. The final.
They lost by a touchdown, which John Brown should have caught.
Yeah.
No. What was the score though? What was the score?
23-something. They won by
23.
a touchdown.
I think it was like 23-17. I think that's what this game's going to be. Even less though. I think it's going to be like 18-10.
And final pick: Colts at the Saints for Monday Night Football. Go with the Saints here.
Yeah. Colts at the Saints. Yeah.
Although downside is Saints scored 46 last week and it still wasn't enough to win. So their defense is trash.
All right, gentlemen, time for our last things last. MJ, we start with you, sir. What do you got for us?
I'm going to say this out loud. I think Kyrie Irving is traded before the deadline this year.
Whoa.
The team, when he's not playing, does much better. You get Kevin Durant back. That's all they really need. I think Irving is gone, frees up salary cap, and they either pay someone on the team like Dinwiddie or they go out and get someone.
Do you know how mad KD would be? The whole reason he came to Brooklyn was to play with Kyrie.
Yeah, but Justin, now he's sitting on the sideline watching the dysfunction of the team, and
I think he knows that when he comes back, it'll be a little different.
I don't think it'll be like that at all. I mean, look, they paired, why did I just draw a blank here? George and Westbrook together. That didn't fix anything.
Justin, what do you got?
Oh, I don't want to make you edit this late. I'm going to go. The Miami Heat have been on comeback trails against trash teams the past couple games. They came back against the Bulls and won in overtime. They came back against the Hawks and won in overtime. They're silently like the 3 seed in the East. Weirdly, really good. A lot of white guy shooting that's been really good. Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. Yeah, my Miami Heat. I'm super excited about this year.
All right.
Just let him say it.
My
Going to be
last
the
thing-
go-between, if you will.
My last things last is that the St. Louis Cardinals will sign either Madison Bumgarner or Dallas Keuchel
Okay.
before the end of the winter meetings. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a lovely last things last podcast. Do
Kevin
any
is
of
a
you
sense he
else to
hates the
say?
First Amendment. Just letting everyone know.
MJ, you got anything else to say?
No, man. This was fun. I'm glad we went through the bowl games, but I think that could be a whole podcast by itself.
That really could. Special podcast next week.
Oh,
All
you know
right,
what?
boys.
You know what? Hey, real quick, I leave this in there. I think next week what we should do is we should all kick in a certain amount of money and we do a parlay on all the bowl games and see if we can win something.
All of them?
Yes, let's see if
Oh
we can
my
do like a 30-game parlay.
What if we do like 2 different parlays?
No.
Oh my God.
Do you imagine like a $5 parlay would pay out on that if you got them all right?
And we win like $750,000.
Yes. Well, this podcast would definitely have some better stuff going. if
Oh man, we have a
Yes.
studio.
We go to the studio, and guess how much money I would be Venmoing? Not.
Oh boy.
That
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been this episode of the Last Things Last podcast. We'll see you later. Thanks.